Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Wednesday, which means it's the continuing our culture playthrough, and we're still playing Ace Attorney Chronicles. Basically what happened last time, we just finished episode 3, the return of the part soul, so we're on episode 4, and I'm quite curious to see how episode 4 connects on our Ace Attorney 2. Twisted Karma and his last bow. Let's go. This is indeed a bizarre. It is born of a curious advertisement and a commonplace digital.
Pipe in hand, Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog, he said. Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious advertisement. A hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial murder. An executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come, the game is afoot.
So this does link to the remaining theater cases. Interesting. In a way. So that's the thing. It days after earth-shattering trial and Cosma regained his memory, we were in the folly of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. 1st of November, 10:24 AM. Great Waterloo Hotel Folly. Professor Mikotaba is due to arrive in any moment. Yes, I'm so glad we got here in time. Usano-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised. The truth about Cosmo-san's father. Do you suppose my father knew that he was actually the master murderer? The professor, you mean? You think that's what she was thinking about? There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they? Yes, that's true. Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikutaba knew about Cosmo going missing in Hong Kong as well? That's right, but for some reason, he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it. That probably means he knows then. About Cosmo showing up here in London with amnesia, and that he's regained his memories now. Ah, there she is. Oh, father. Hello, Susano. How are you? Dude looks so different. I'm very well, thank you. We're delighted you've arrived safe and sound. Hello, Miss Naruhodo. I'm very kind of you to take the trouble to meet us here. Oh no, not at all. It's my pleasure. I heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. News has crossed the sea. It has? I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive with the steamship from Britain. Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who is this man? Why do I feel as though I've seen him before? I take it from your expressions you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder? Tinshiro, a firm tap should do it. Yes. A firm tap? What? Here we go then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Rinosuke Naruhodo, guilty! Ah! Oh! You're... The court will not hear trial of Rinosuke Naruhodo. Your Excellency! Hello, Judge Jinkoku. How are you? It's been a long time. Good. You remember now. That really did the trick. Guilty! Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time. So, London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years. To be honest, I never thought I'd be back. Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would ever be involved in an international synopsis like this. No, really, I doubt anyone did, to be honest. It's all thanks to you, isn't it, Kenshiro? What are you talking about, Eugene? Of course, Judge Shingoku. He must complete the set. He's the other man who 16 years ago came to London with Cosmo's father and Professor Mikutaba. He's the third-visiting scholar. Well, all those passports for checks and luggage searches at the border took a rather lot of time. Sorry. I must say, I'm very envious of your minister status. You didn't have to go for all of that, did you? I knew you were jealous. Sorry? Ministerial status? Yes, didn't you know? Kenshiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal incentive that allowed you to take Cosmo's place here on the study tour. Insistence, sorry. Guilty as charged. Oh, well, thank you so much. It's really every bit as important as he looks. Ah, yes, Nai. Naruhodo. I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday. Oh, you did? It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved in with it days ago. About what happened 10 years ago. That tragedy. Yes, can you tell us more about it? Any more about it, sir? I must. Professor Mikutaba, I wonder, did I show you something? Why do you seem so nervous? I suppose because I'm a student showing something to a professor. That's always quite nerve-wracking. Well, I'm sorry I perturbed you in that way. Anyway, I'm afraid I have nothing useful to say about that, really. So we can examine this too, come here. I'm right in thinking that those skills are a symbol of the defense in law, aren't they? They're supposed to be a symbol of treating everything equally and fairly. That's why they're always in the middle. Balance, equal measure on both sides. Recently though, whenever I see a set of skills, I can only think of the enormous skill of justice. That's entirely understandable. They are such a powerful symbol in the courtroom, aren't they? And the thing about the skills of justice is, they're always leaning one way or the other. They're only ever in balance right at the start. It must be something particular written to the British. I really can't shed any light on it, Mr. Naruhodo. It's very... You find an embroidery here that shows you the name of the armband's owner. In this case, Kazuma Asogi. I'm always carrying my best friend's hopes and dreams with me on my right arm just here, all the time. To be honest, it sometimes weighs very heavily on me. Oh, I didn't realize it was such a burden, Miss Naruhodo. Yes, I think it's why my right shoulder aches so much. Are you sure that it has nothing to do with you reading better or the like? Oh, we can examine! Let's do it! You seen all those sparkling jewels up there? I must have got her every gem in the world for that. Ah! It's called a chandelier, I believe. Oh, right, so that's it. Oh, that's the cross-state stuff, right? It's designed to provide elegant lighting in large, spacious rooms like this. So do you have to gather every gem in the world just to illuminate one room? There's probably electric light bulbs that are actually throwing the light. If I tried to hang something like that from the ceiling in the office, they'd be scraping on the floor. I think perhaps chandeliers aren't for you, Mr. Naruhodo. That desk is known as the hotel reception. Anyone to spend the night here has to report there to sign in for their stay. Oh, do you think that that's the head clerk behind the desk there? Yes, I'm sure it must be. I love to stay in a grand hotel like this for a little while. Wouldn't you? Just to know what it's like. If the hotel fee was paid for our stripping, I am afraid it might bankrupt our whole arm. True. London gives the word expensive a whole new meaning. Everything's okay. Look at those kisses just left there on the trolley. Aren't they worried about fees? I know I am. Have you seen the porter over there? Don't worry, he's obviously keeping an eye on everything. Ah, so it's a trap. Designed to catch any catchers who might be tempted. Why did the porter give me such a scathing look just now? You suppose... Well, some might say you look a little suspicious with your jet black clothes. Not everyone cloud black is some sort of ninja with intent to steal, you know. Look at that! It's a picture of the Crystal Tower. Well, the Great Exhibition is one of Britain's most prestigious achievements in recent years. I wonder how tall it is. It really does represent the pinnacle of scientific achievements in so many ways. There's a 20-meter tall chimney on the bathhouse near my lodging at University. The attendance there is always boasting that it's the tallest object in the neighborhood. I'm sure. Do you know that over the channel in Paris, there's a tower that's 300 meters tall? Ah! What? Hi! How many times taller is that than the chimney in Shokin's hot spring is that? The Eiffel Tower. Okay. Ah, crap. And if it's that tall, how does it drop properly? I mean, the smoke would get stuck, surely. I don't think it's that sort of tower, Mr. Naruhodo. So, how was the voyage here? Well, 50 days at sea is a very long time by anyone's standards. But it wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago. Oh, that's true. And I truly don't wonder if we wouldn't be being in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. At time we followed the same route as you. We were able to relax and enjoy the experience. Ah! So you stopped at France's beautiful capital, Paris. We did, yes, though only for one night. And I instantly at the port of Durkin from Dover. Just in time for the announcements. In fact, it starts tomorrow. It's wonderful that you were invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father. It's all thanks to Sincero here. 16 years ago, he managed to integrate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited. And I suppose you could say that I'm something of an appendage by default. Speaking for yourself, you were close friends with the professor of forensic science at a major hospital. Yes, well, I'd rather not dread all that up, really. No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then. That doesn't bring him back. Cosmo's father, I suppose. The professor, the character who took the lives of 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Cosmo's father, wasn't he? That's correct. Genshin Ashtogi. Genshin? You knew, I presume, father. Yes, he was a close friend at the time. Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigation techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts. It was a closed trial, so the public never knew the truth. He was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland. But what about Cosmo? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his father? No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness. However, I suspect that he may have had his doubts. Oh, why? As you know, I tried to guide Cosmo growing up, as if he were my own son. Then one day, he came to my office at the university and said, I decided I want to travel to Great Britain to study there. Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death? I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I knew there was no way I'd be able to stop him. Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually. Oh, what? Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Cosmo has since turned up here in London, working as an apprentice of Lord Fanseeks. What? What? That's news to us! So, Lord Strongheart telegram neglected to mention that part then. As you know, we both thought Cosmo had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January. But he didn't die. He's alive. As you knew, didn't you, Father? In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished. We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try to ascertain what had happened, but to no avail. He's still alive, and here in London, you say? I never dared even to dream it. Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now. Well, it seems like he was suffering from amnesia. What? Amnesia? When I first came across him here again in London. Oh, sorry, when we first came across him again here in London, I didn't know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memories 8 days ago. This is unbelievable. Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know. I must speak of him urgently. I wonder how Cosmo's spent these past few days. Would we almost to go and visit him? That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Yujin here, Genshin Sogi, and myself. We were the original three. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean boys were not what they are today, I can tell you. 16 years ago, things were tough for their generation. Your father was an exceptionally fine student at Yumi University at the time, you know, young lady. Yes, grandmother told me. He went to do research at a Great London hospital to study oil spy. Practically unheard of in Japan. Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and a burial ground. Not more talk about of graves. Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following oil spy work. So you see, oil spy laws has something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons. Not my cup of tea at all. You remember that Scottish prison governor? Carlton, his name was? He was a good man. Yes, but then of course, in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful kiss. When Genshin was arrested for a series of most gruesome murders. I simply couldn't believe it. I've known the man for years. I was a witness at the secret hearing and I tried to speak in his defense, but you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you? Well, suffice to say that after the trial we were sent back to Japan. There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. It was a lost cause, sadly. Well, if you excuse us now. Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible. Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you up here for so long. I'll call the porter then. Just wait here. Gisana-san's gone off on a run. I'd like to stay and talk more, but I do have various preparations to make for tomorrow. Yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck. Naruhodo, I hope you'll keep an eye on Susanoo-san for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been. Oh no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me. Well, I do appreciate you being there for her, after all. I've been a miserable father to her. I thoroughly let her down. Sorry? What do you mean? Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour in Britain, as you know. Prior year, Susanoo was born. Yes, I heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event in my life, but... well, sadly, it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too. Oh, yes. Susanoo-san hinted at something like that. It was a rather turbulent time at home. Anyway, I wouldn't bore you with the details. The point is, I become rather less dependable than befits a grown man. And it was then that Sinshiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Britain. I was too worried about you to leave you behind. So perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London. So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dared. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. Ah, one other thing, Naruto. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask you. Oh, really? Of course! What can I do for you? Well, the thing is, I'm sorry that took so long. Miss Susano. Now then, allow us to take your bags. Allow me to take your bags. One moment, if you please, Porter. Of course, sir. That machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe. Quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for lovely photographs to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir. Well, I think given the occasion, you justify the expense. Ah, yes, yes, of course. I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruto. It really made Father very happy, I think. Oh, well, I'm pleased then. We were interrupted before. Professor Mikutama was about to ask me something. Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect ours will have some delicious tea waiting for us. Yes, let's go. I'm getting more and more anxious about Cosmo though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. Oh, we could have found here afterwards. Well, let's go. Wow! Let's go to Strongheart's office, see if there's any difference here. Oh, 1st of November. Great Ace Supreme Court Lord Chief Justice Office. Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figure you asked for from the yard. See, excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord. What's Lord Fancy doing here? My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension here, wouldn't you say? This place is stiffening enough as it is. We really don't need any more tension. My apologies, I didn't know she'd come in. Your small stature and dark dress mean you're all but invisible to me. Oh, not at all. It's only my fault for wearing black, I'm sure. Now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here. Now then, Mr. Naruto. Yes, my lord. I'm right here. Going now. Is something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you. Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature. If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your fists seem to suggest otherwise. Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, Kinley. As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Synopsis Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, Panam. Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited. I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands then, Lord Fanseek. I will attend the once. Give you a very cool swords left, didn't he? I know, but I haven't done anything. Have I? This past few days, my feet have barely touched the ground, I must say. My delicate right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion. Oh? I'm sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service? Listen, Arturo! He's talking about Dr. Steve. Ah! Of course. I'm entirely sorry about that. I was just, Fear not. You've done nothing wrong. Dr. Steve's own wrongdoings precipitated the situation. You can concern yourself with that any further. That'd be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me. Lord Fanseek is doing an admirable job of holding the fort. Though certainly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday. Oh! Missing? What's become of Cosmo-sama now? Can I show you this, Lord Strongheart? I'm the Lord Chief Justice. I'm here to offer advice about evidence. Oh! Especially when the evidence in question is so dull. Ah, so that's the reason. Not long ago, visiting numbers of the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million! 30 million?! Are there that many people in the world? As a comparison, as I heard, the population of the imperial capital, Tokyo, is 2 million. I will be opening the International Forensic Science in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations and negotiations with other countries. It sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations! The 20th century will see a wholesale adoption of forensic science, forensic investigation techniques, and cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why this landmark will be the first Zenobia to be hosted here in the heart of our great British Empire, along with birds. And Lord Scotland Yard can become the leading investigation organization, investigative organization in the New World. He's a seamless ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something. You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruto. I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about the future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Sivif at the helm, it was steadily occurring and impressive record of achievements. I was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department. And can you not do that now? Obviously, no one wants to hear anything about it at the moment. I can't keep the story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancements in the field of by a good 10 years, I say. Unintended repercussions of our trial. We simply couldn't have overlooked what had happened, though. Of course not. We should all be careful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way. About Lord Van Sick's apprentice. Ah, yes. That came as a surprise to me, I must say. That you and he are old friends. How did he become an apprentice to Lord Van Sick in the first place? It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel. Oh my. So he stowed away to get here. He had no papers to identify him, no passport. And he was suffering from amnesia too. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there were no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Sick's. That way I could keep an eye on him. Then, why the mask? I didn't want to burden Lord Van Sick with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern apprentice. Because it'd be so much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask. His providing to be a great help to Lord Van Sick. I have high hopes for his future. By the way, you know where he's gone? No idea. But I believe he left London for the time being. Oh. I take you also didn't know? The man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean. Genshin Asugi. What we learned from the trial 8 days ago was a huge shocking. Finding my friend's father was... Ah yes. Genshin Asugi. The professor's kiss 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain. They were such awful murderers and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon. And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited to study here by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then. And can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knew it was him, and neither do the citizens of London. The main motivation was to avoid aggravating the relations between our two nations at the time, I understand. Correct. However, it has to be noted that there were some supporters of the professor's apparent cause. What? Supporters of a mass murderer? The majority of the man's victims were blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefit society as a whole. Or so the far few thinkers in London believe anyway. Right, see. It was still murder, wasn't it? It seems very similar, doesn't it? To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey. I think that's all we can do for now. See you later. Let's go see Iris. I see that big machines on Strung's desk again. Person of error, Strung's suite. What was that? A man screaming in the most unflattering way. You think? Could have been Mr. Sholmes. Oh my. I do hope not. I don't do it anymore. What? Money. Substitute securities will display. Who are these people? Look at their hair. It's bright red. I think they must be class of Mr. Sholmes. Right, you see. You're coming with me now. Down to the link. Oh, not in prison. It's a dark and damp, and I don't like it. Oh, see darkness. It is my friend. I am not scared. But you're always scared of the dark. You're always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. I was a quality in the dark and plan on a steering heist. I don't like this. I don't like it. Well, tough. Well, finish this down in your eye. Now, keep moving. Bye then, Genie. Have fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Iris. And thanks. Yeah, great detective. She makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie! And Bruno! Hello, Iris. We're home. Well, did you find Lally? Yes! We arrived at the hotel just before him and his friend. Oh, well, that's good news. I do hope I get to see my daddy again soon. Yes, of course. Dr. John H. Wilson. So, Iris, all remains nice, greatest of problems known to man. Holy crap, why is your hair red? I've already included us concern ourselves with that. I believe some tea is in order. Don't you, my dear fellows? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Not so much in your face as on your head, I'd say. Come along then, everyone. I bring a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever is going on here today? In that case, let's sit and drink now. For I am in fact expecting a guest later today. Iris' pretty little tea set is set up beautifully as ever. Look. Well, it's only been carefully taken care of a tea set that you can make good tea. It's that a roundabout way of telling me I need to tidy my desk. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, you do overthink things at times. Blackboard is where Iris scribbles down your latest ideas, isn't it? Let's see. Oh! These are drawing a lot of little stick figures all lined up. Look! Cheap apples at the market is what all of them say. What? Little figures can speak? All your questions would be answered if only you would read this month's Randus magazine. But I'm the only one who can't make any sense of this. That's Iris' wonderful collection of medicines, potions, and chemicals. Just look at them. Just look at all the little bottles she squeezed onto the shelves. Yes, and there are some charming little ribbons tied around the bottles too. And the labels aren't quite as charming, are they? This one here reads, Deadly Poison. Oh, I've been so excited about the idea of helping Iris with experiments, you know. Just try to avoid any bottles labeled Deadly Poison or Highly Explosive. If I remember correctly, this large and imposing lump of iron is called a typewriter. To think that every single one of the adventures of Herlock Sholmes blossomed from this very machine. It's such a dreamy thought. I've actually had to go on the other day. And all bars that move when you hit the keys and got all tangled up somehow, that made Iris angry. It's not our Hodo. You're ruining my dreamy thoughts. Please don't do that again. Now I've made Susano angry as well. Hello. My eyes are always drawn to the big metal chest that Mr. Sholmes and Iris use as a coffee table. Isn't it where Iris keeps her very important papers? It is. So you think they treat it with more care, really? The other day, I saw Mr. Sholmes kick it. Oh no! I suppose something must have been frustrating him. A shame to mistreat the furniture, though. Was it damaged? The chest was fine. And Mr. Sholmes was doubled up on the floor in almost 10 minutes. He hurt his foot. Oh dear. That is a painful tale. This looks like last week's edition. What's that article circled in red ink there? It's an It's in the advertisement column. It says, "To the Red-Haired League." Headed League, sorry. The Red-Headed League? What's that? I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but... Is something on my face? Clearly, this has something to do with that. Lively her. Sweet, we got that out. We'll sound it later. I do like this fireplace. It's one of the best things I've seen since we arrived in this country, in fact. Although, I do yearn for a Japanese kotatsu. Putting your legs under a warm blanket table is so comforting. You be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't mistakenly put your feet into the fire, will you? You suffer terrible burns, you know. I worry sometimes about how Susanoo-san sees me. Ah yes, Mr. Sholmes' curious collection of trinkets from the various mysteries he solved. It's one of my favorite parts of this room, full of items with such exciting tales to tell. And I do believe he's added to it since I last looked. Now, there's a mysterious PNC, a mysterious little box, a mysterious horseshoe, a mysterious biscuit. I think that last one might just be one of ours or something snacks. There's all sorts of shell. Look on these. Sorry. There are all sorts of these shells, chemical apparatuses, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high. I can't help feeling the whole thing is going to topple at any moment. It looks as though it might topple, yet it doesn't. The epitome of Mr. Sholmes' brilliance. I don't get it. As it happens, I'm quite well practiced when it comes to stacking shells myself. Just the other day, the shells may always finally give way to under the strain, though. It looks as though it might topple, and it does. Yes, the epitome of your disarray. I really don't get it. That's Mr. Sholmes' famous violin. One he found being sold for a song at the pawnbrokery. What was it again? The Shuri something? Oh yes, the wondrous instrument featured in the adventure of Herlock Sholmes. It's a world famous Stradivarius. What? Stradivarius, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you even trying now? We'll come back to this another time, I think. We finally managed to remember this behemoth's name. Great Aloscope. I don't think I was here when I left for Japan, was it? Oh, is that right? Yes, because it was with the pawnbroker. Ah, of course. Oh, that gives me a wonderful idea. I could pawn everything that's on your desk. The office would be tidy at last. Don't even joke about it, Mr. Sano. You are joking, aren't you? Gosh, but I'm... First of November, now photos, legal consultation. We have to. The spade is still here, look. Please, Mr. Naruto, it's not a spade. As I think you well know, it's a shovel. It didn't take long to recite that old argument. Ah! I have an idea! Let's give the implement a name, like Professor Herbert named his tools. Oh! I never thought of doing that. From now on then, let's call it Runusaki. No! It's clearly much more of a Susanoo. The old argument has taken a new and unexpected turn, it seems. Steam rising gently from the kettle as always. Yes, it doesn't feel right somehow unless it is. But the steam has an unusual scent today. Perhaps it's the sweet potatoes that I brought back from Japan with me already. Oh, Mr. Naruto, I heard that, you know. Tears of joy, Mr. Sano, from my mouth. Whenever you serve me tea, it always takes me back to Japan. I know you're not particularly fond of the bitter taste, are you? So I do always try to pick out less bitter matches for you. It does often serve up an unusual mellow blend, it's true. But the anticipation of the taste in my mouth makes me bitterly worried anyway. It was very difficult for you, isn't it? Let's see the Dharmaka. The Dharma. That Dharma is still winking at me. Look. I wonder we'll finally get this other eye filled in. Yes, I wonder. You should know, Susanoo-san. I entrusted the task to you. The truth is, need to say when that will be. What? Really? When? That's my little secret. You see, I've been keeping my desk beautifully covered in papers as always. Really must tidy it all up, Mr. Naruto. No more excuses. Mrs. Sano, the way I see it, all these papers spilling on my desk like this are a reminder of my wonderfully diverse daily life. I like to lead my CR, so I never forget how lucky I am to have such varied experiences. In that case, you should definitely have a thorough tidy. Then you'll be able to see your paper spilling up all over again, and that joy feels renewed. Still can't beat in an argument, even though I'm the lawyer here. My desk is just as it was before I left. Sumi ink on a calligraphic brush, even though we're in England now. That strikes me as typically you, Mrs. Sano, and typically not you at the same time. Well, I do enjoy all the wonderful new things to come out of the West in the Cultural Revolution, of course. But I'm not ready to give up my brush just yet. And anyway, Susanoo-san can write more neatly with a brush than most people can with a pen. Practice makes perfect, as they say. The room across the hall is undisturbed, of course. I didn't suppose I'd be permitted to see inside now that you're back though, would I? You know very well that only ours is allowed inside. Yes, I heard you two giggling together in there again last night. You can visit Mr. Shones in his room, Mr. Naruto. Last time I did that, He tried to convince me to drink some strange concoction he mixed up. Oh, the sea life seems so comfortable in there, I must say. I've noticed something recently, actually. The Amobis breed at most extraordinary rates. Oh, really? It's a mystery why the whole seabed isn't buried in a mountain of them, actually. Oh, how splendid! That really is a mystery, isn't it? I wish there was someone here to explain Susanna-san's strange reaction to that. Shit, he is downstairs, sadly, and I think all we could do. We can still talk, so it's good news that Professor Mikatawa arrived safely, isn't it? Yes, it's wonderful. And the fact that Father has been invited to this important international event really makes me very proud to be his daughter. Father, Judge Jinkoku, us, and Kazuma, of course. There's an ever-increasing number of Japanese here in Britain's capital, isn't there? Oh, yes, I suppose so. But London does have a population of 6 million people, so I think we're still a minority. Susanna-san's father, he came here as a visiting student 16 years ago, and Kazuma. It's almost as if some great power has been at work, drawing him here across the ocean to London. And I feel as though the waters are starting to swell up again now. Oh, it is. I stayed up late to mend that for you the other day, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you. You did a really seamless job. You're very welcome. It's all in a day's work for your jujitsu assistant. The only thing is, I accidentally dropped it in the famous yesterday, and now it's rather smells. Then take better care of it, please. It was all going so well until I ruined it. Red-haired head league. It's not something we could ever aspire to, is it? But I'm determined to try. Your hair is completely black, though. Beautiful, but black. Perhaps you know that in our homeland, this color of hair has traditionally been described as green black. That sounds a lot like a contradiction, if you ask me. So some people clearly see it as green in Japan, even though it's black. In which case, I really hope something similar may happen here in Britain. That level of optimism is something I should learn a lesson from. Red League are accounts of the bequests of the late British Hoppin of LeBlanc and PA, USA, that there is now another vacancy again was opened, which entitles a member of the league to a salary of £4 a week for purely. Let me make sure I got this right. Purely nominal services. All redhead men, your sound and body and mind and above the age of 21 years are eligible. Apply in person on the morning of the 31st at the large park in Lime Street. £4 a week if you're redhead. Most fascinating money-making opportunity. Hey, surprisingly hot. Sir Bottomwood Hospitals on the papers too. No, of a hypothesis. This one. Report. Oh, a public health report. Some of services down here. I really wish there was more. We could see more of this paper. All right, back to Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, about this. Tell me, Miss Naruhodo. This is the first time you show me this particular trinket. Oh, I don't really remember, to be honest. And if by saying that it's a color from a breed of minuscule canines with a particular long neck, were to certificate, here we go again from your lips. Be sure that it's not the first time. Deduction, you see, my dear fellows. Deduction! It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in the papers, Mr. Sholmes. To the Red-Headed League. Does that strike you in any way, in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last you learn to appeal my methods, Miss Naruhodo. Sorry, you learn to apply my methods, Miss Naruhodo. Sorry? In the first instance, I'm quite indispensable. Observation! Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Regale or boast? Well, we have a full line here. Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were here before? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals. Nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And then the mood ticks me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all matters of infractions. And the mood ticks you? All matters of infractions? But when such fellows set their sight on Mr. Herlock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my! You were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes? Well, I quickly devised a plan to trap them and deliver them to our young detective ally. You should have asked Grizzly to come. We could have had an arresting tea party. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is continually in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's the word for it, I'm sure. Ah, I have it! A burglar. That's the word. Bonjour. That's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. Those redheads have been up to no good. I wonder what the man did. What was that about the greatest problem known to man that you mentioned before? Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes? How shall I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance? Well, I think I've heard talk about it somewhere, possibly. It's a revolutionary scientific method that was newly proposed 40 years ago now. According to his author, Mr. Darwin, we humans are once apes who live in the treetops. Wait, what? We were apes? Indeed. And from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man. Our lot? What is this great problem, Mr. Sholmes? Why, is it not obvious, my dear madame? The problem of rent! But Did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tuspel just only the other day? A large sum. One pot of herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and all of it has quite disappeared, I assure you. Honestly, Huey, you know you squandered it. Yes, well anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem, for the coming month at least. What was the answer? Why? There's a substance clue before your very eyes. Don't tell me, let me see. Humans are sorry creatures, unable to see what is in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely. There's one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think. In the end? It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation. I think we might need another clue before we can cover the full answer, Mr. Naruhodo. Thanks for the hint. I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on any longer. Or much longer. Mr. Sholmes? Isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us. I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives won't lie. It will serve you well to remember that. The case of for the SS Burr in January. Cosimo wasn't killed, but you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what was really going on? That fellow was unconscious for a very long time. He had me unconscious when he did. His life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of prolonged Cosmos' state was amnesia, as you now know. It was simple enough task to silence the crew. But hi! After I carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid in the ship of Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. Oh, how horrible. It was necessary to find some materials with which to pursue the crewmen to keep their word, of course. Why? Why do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent offense. What offense? His disappearance in Hong Kong. Oh. I believe I may have made a grave error judgment. A gross error judgment. Mr. Sholmes. So, what is the Red-Haired League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you circled? You noticed it in the papers then? That, my dear fellows, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was high. According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellow and unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me. But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they've joined. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week? But why? What are they paying people for? That I don't know. Details are given in the advertisement. But surely every red-headed person in the country would have been flocking to join in that cause, in that case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put my application in once. So would I! Just on the off chance. That might be stretching the point, I think. The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see. Oh, see. Once a certain number of people join, no one else can. But luck would have it, one member recently passed away. It wasn't particularly lucky for that redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes. So you decided to join in his place. Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why? Why did it have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo. Though pains me to admit it. What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes? I'm glad you asked, Mr. Sanu. What you see at the top of my head is neither dry nor hairpiece. I changed the colors of my hair overnight by the wonder of chemistry. Chemistry? Uh-oh. I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. And in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns from her a flame like red. Would you like to try it? It'll make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. I think I'll pass. And Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? Amateurs are always hampered by such fears. Oh, I should never have done it, you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say... Of course. You earn £4 a week. One must prepare to turn a blind eye to a little danger. That degree of red signals more than a little danger. Surely. So anyway, he left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For a park at Lion Street where the red-headed league was interviewing prospective new members. The what went wrong? The whole park was shook with redhead folks, like a coaster orange sparrow. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. But when the pound mirror saw me, immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Shh, don't give me away." After which, I could do little else but turn and leave. And this morning, when I looked at the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that pair into the police. Oh dear, what a disaster. We're hearing those two redheads. He basically just got pissed. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Ah! Here's my guest now. My next client with money to spend. Oh, I do hope it is an exciting case, Harry. Remember, Iris, we are at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how stimulating. Saving locating a runaway, of course. Don't spur anyone's feelings, will you? But there, I have a fear that Huey can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due. Whack! Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, please! Oh, please! Please find my husband. He's run away. You upset me. I beg your pardon. Never mind. A personal matter. My apologies. What's that you're trying to say, Mr. Naruto? I didn't say a word. Come, my dear madame. Be seated. Iris, some tea, if you please. Of course. What's the matter, Mr. Sano? Oh, it's just that that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before. Very recently. Yes, now you come to mention it. As I explained earlier, my name is If Virgil. You go. I implore you to take the kiss, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure. Money and wealth are little consequence to me, madame. Being offered a kiss is solved is rewarding enough. Oh, Mr. Jones, you're the picture of benevolence. I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you remember your words, also. If I might acquire, sir. This gentleman lady would be... Oh, me? What I'm about to tell you, I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, if you understand. Ah, these are my friends. I assure you. You may say before the spur anything which you may say to me. Ah, I see. I can vouch for the gentleman personally, after all. He's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? Miss Figo, would you mind casting your eyes over this? Oh, my poor Daily. Where have you gone? I'll be coming for you. I'm afraid she's too worried about her husband to pay any attention, Mr. Naruto. Either that, or she doesn't want to be bothered with me. Alright. Forgive me for asking, Miss Virgo, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps? Oh my! Hush, my dear fellow. What is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If which in fact related to you, you must do it in a more gentlemanly fashion. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week? Ah! I knew you recognized her. You have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly, it sends shivers down my spine. I didn't quite recognize her before. I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting differently. She's acting so differently now. It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer. Being hard of hearing, I mean. Pardon? Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery, really. Nothing more. Neither could you start, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be punter for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. Tell me about your husband, madame. Mr. Virgo, my Dally is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here. An entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance at least. How long have you been married? It would be 15 years this year. We had a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably. As would appear, I need only look at you to know these things. Oh gosh! Your dress is latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, You have no inkling as to why your husband might have disappeared, correct? That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me. Which would point to the possibility that he has some embroiled in some incident or other. Oh, that's exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's appointment is somewhat unusual, you'll see. What if he incurred some miscreant ill will? Well, exactly is your husband's line of work. He's a warder at the prison. Guard? That is somewhat unusual. So your husband is a prison warder. That's right. Yes. In actual fact, he's the chief warder. Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warden certainly qualifies something of a specialist occupation. Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they are carried out. Dreadful punishments? Do you mean capital punishments? And at such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility, he's really more handsome. Yeah, more handsomely than any other warden. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbors. Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged? Barclay Prison, Mr. Sholmes. Really? Barclay? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there's a large cemetery just behind it. Yes, that's correct. Locate Cemetery. No. Locate Cemetery. The fireplace we were discussing in court. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable, my dear fellows. And yet undeniable. Sorry, Mr. Sholmes. I'm afraid you've lost me. Ah, pay no heed, madame. Pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence. Can it? So, for the matter of your husband's disappearance, when did you realize he was missing? Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday. I'm sorry? Yesterday? That really is reason. Laughably so. The truth is, my husband does at times have occasions to spend the night away from his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night, but this is different. For him to not make any contact for a whole day. That has certainly never happened before. But when they're daily, whatever can happen. My dear Miss Bergin, please. Calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police? Why? Naturally, but sadly, they refuse to listen to my plea as my husband has been only missing for one day. I was asked to wait patiently at home. In truth, Miss, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage in my deduction powers to track your husband down anyway. Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. And furthermore, let me show you. A chance to solve the greatest problem known to man in another month has no bearing on my decision. I seek only to put a sweet smile on our Londoner's face. That's really all to it. You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention. You seek only to put this sweet rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Miss Farewell. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation. Oh, please report to me as soon. To me good news, sir. Fear not, madame. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with the heartening report, I'm quite sure. So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes. Good news should be delivered early, I would say. Now, you should be kindly as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. Get the photograph. Thank you. Now allow me to show you the door. I can't ever thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous. No, I think it every time, Huey. But how do you come up with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two? Are you sure? I can't be sure, of course. But then I didn't swear on it. I merely give the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. Not at all. Rent must be paid by the end of the day tomorrow. If by that time I said located as a finger, we shall be relief. Usually, when you agree, Miss Naruhodo. Don't look at me with those pleading eyes. Well, my dear fellows, did you hear the details of the case? Yes. My hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent. What do you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. A Parkley prison, I mean. Ah, so you noticed that. You noted that. Of course, especially with the mention of Logate Cemetery. Logate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So it is renowned among us students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarnated. The Professor. And now a warden from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, it would seem. It's all very particular. Peculiar, sorry. Indeed. But nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Run along to the prison and see what you can glean, would you? It's the prison governor you wanted. No doubt the man is equally worried. But aren't you going to go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen with this hair! But didn't you go to Lion Street without her? That was a quite different matter. So I leave in your capable hands. Now, if you excuse me, I'm rather busy. Of course you are. I feel like we're gonna need... Okay, not even that. Okay. We'll be back soon. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lowly burial ground. A lonely burger. Its four high outer walls loom quietly over us in the fog. When requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. There's a guillotine clock! Here's November, Barclays Prison, governor's office. This place is full of hardened criminals. And now remember the last time a civilian was done to you. And you didn't want to talk to an inmate, and you didn't want to talk to an inmate but to me. Do you gain who I am? I'm the governor, Barry Calden. Hmm? Oh, yes. It's a pleasure. I'm Renus Naruhodo, defense lawyer. And an Eastern, I see. What's that mean? Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. Japan? Did you say Japan? Yes. Well, there's no any of your kind in here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh? I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. Anyway, came to ask you some questions about... I didn't like to be direct, so... But I have no intention of speaking with the likes of you suspicious-looking Easterns. Now get over me here! So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. Surely means... I think it's because of the professor's case. I think so too. 10 years ago, Genshin Asugi, also known as the Professor, was incarnated at this prison. And then, after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. Hey, none! You're still around about that kiss! This aren't you? Please stop spinning those cuffs. You're agents, eh? Part of the Professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. We're just... Get going with ya! We're a bunch of lights, dude. Go where we're going! Maybe the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. We're not going to get anywhere. Once we can somebody prove to this man that we're nothing suspicious... That there's nothing suspicious about us. Governor Kende. What are you thinking, Mr. Sano? I'm sure that name came up in a conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if you ever mentioned him might have some idea to help us. Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. Oh, I was gonna... Oh, we can't do anything here. In fact, I think I know who. Let's head back to the hotel. Oh, he's sitting... Who's sitting there with the newspaper? Go, Mikutaba. That's Professor Mikutaba over there. Ah, hello, you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked. Where's Shinkoku? Yes, he's not the relaxing sort. He's taking himself all the past respects to all the legal bigwigs. He only just arrived in the country today. He is full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before about how you know the prison Governor Barclay prison. Oh, Governor Camden, you mean? So it is the same man. Honor, you must speak with the governor. If he refused to talk to us, he says we were suspicious Easterners. Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That would be wonderful if you have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Busy drinking coffee on a comfortable seat. Now, I have a rather lot to prepare for tomorrow, you know. Oh, sorry. I didn't say I had lied. Did I? You Mikutawas are normally good at reading people's thoughts. Or could it be that your Naruhodos are normally bad at hiding your thoughts? Let's not fall out now. I have an idea. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Here's a letter of introductions for you. Hopefully when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Ah, thank you. Letter. Good luck then. President Nikitawa has wonderful handwriting, doesn't he? This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. Is it just me, or does that make me sound extremely untrustworthy? I do wish he at least called you a nice young man. I'm rather not sure that would help. Oh! Looks like there's some sort of steamship ticket. SS Groove. First class cabin, 001. Yokun Highland Department, 11th September. London arrival, 1st November. Ah, that's the boat of Professor Mikitaba and Judge Jinkook, who came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it's called the Durkin on the north coast of France from the night before finally arriving at Dover. I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Borough. It seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. And I keep mine in my wallet, what I have with me at all times. Oh. How strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? I imagine it? Or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? That feels important for later, and thankfully we... Back to the prison we go! Talk to the governor. You just cast your eyes over here, Governor Kadin. What's this then? You can't pull the walls over my eyes, you good for nothing Japanese student. Mikutaba. That young jock from the forensic laboratory? That Mikutaba? Yes, exactly. Him. Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yujin Mikutaba's daughter, Susano. Jing! You're the young man's daughter? And you didn't think of mentioning that before? I do apologize. Well, you best take a seat then. Can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? And then I forget to try one of these wonderful hand-cut biscuits. Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretted not announcing who I was from the outset now. So then, what can I do you for then? Well, we're currently investigating a case. It's one of your warders, you see. He's gone missing. Missing? That's right. It's surely been reported to you as well, being a prisoner governor. I hadn't heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing person in my prison. Persons in my prison. Oh! But how can that be? It's Mr. Daly Fergal, sir. Your chief warden. Eh? Ergen? That's right. His wife can just ask us to investigate his disappearance. Let's get the part about him only going missing for yesterday. Going missing yesterday for now. Clearly, that means something to him. Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir? Of course. I don't want to do this. What's this? What's that then? There then. It's actually a sign of a Japanese defense lawyer. Well, if you have the word or something like that to prove who you are. Perhaps you were these sun cups, eh? I think maybe there's more of a They're more of a sign of the people you catch than yourself. Aye, that's true. You got me there, hen. Not much is that sign of anything, are they? Governor Kaden, we should have a look at this. Oi, what do ya? Wanna have a wee handcuff biscuit? Oh, no thanks. You just catch your eyes over this. Or maybe you prefer real handcuffs, eh? No, none of that for me, please. Lovely offers, though. Okay. Let's examine a wee bit before I can move on. An axe, a hunting rifle, and 4 pairs of handcuffs. That's a daunting collection. Ah, there's a story behind every one of those. You mean the rifle was a famous killer's murder weapon, and the axe was wielded by an infamous executioner? And the handcuffs were once used by an to immobilize a fierce four-legged beast when it was arrested? I think you're in the realms of fantasy now, Mr. Naruhodo. Not those kinds of stories, Jimmy. The axe was the one I used to chop down the cherry tree in my house. Mrs. Kittens was best pleased. And the cuts on the left are the ones I caught my first left back when I was a bobby. The stories were a little different than those you imagined, I think, weren't they? Yes, to my relief, and in a small way, my disappointment. What a bird! Never expected to find a parrot in the prison. It must be the governor's pet. Given where we are, it's hard not to see the poor creature as a prisoner. Come out! Already skinning me! Ah! Has the bird like to mimic the cries of the inmates in the cell? Ouch, no. He was one of 3 siblings, you see. And he still calls the names of his 2 brothers like that all the time. Right. Come Don't kill me! I hear you, laddie. You want your dinner, eh? Didn't you do it? The Fire Lord's cabinet full of papers, isn't it? It's labeled Image Register. Look! And all the files are in alphabetical order. That's 50 years worth of records of Barclay's inmates. Whether or not they live alive after serving their term. All details about the criminals they committed are recorded in there. Like an effigy, you may ask. A record of crimes and punishments. Hide the spreading. And yet, this man seems to be enjoying Team Biscuits as he talks about it. I can understand. That grandfather clock is fitted with a terrifying blade that keeps dropping down. It's small and a guillotine, a fancy execution device. You might have heard of it. And yes, before you ask, it can chop. Heads off, you mean? Heavens no! Carrots and parsnips and so forth. That's used for carrots and parsnips? Oh. If it's a large carrot at the bottom, there in the moor, by evening it would have been cut clean in 2. Well, the blade must have the most indescribable edge on it then. I suppose these are all former governors of Park Lake Prison, are they? Either that, or former inmates who the governor has sent to the gallows. Oh dear. They all have several expressions. I really can't deny either possibility. Especially the one on the extreme right. This mission goes beyond service into the whole new territory. That one's me. Ah! I'm terribly sorry, sir. Is it a prerequisite of the job, perhaps? Having a surf expression, I mean? Of course it's not. Although, it is taken into consideration. A lot. Ooh. A deer has been staring at me for a while now. It has? The poor thing can't fit through the small hole in the wall. But I can't get its head back out again now, either. It's giving me a woeful, imploring look. It's not real, Miss Naruhodo. It's stuffed. What? I mean, yes, of course it is. For a moment, I thought it was another assassin sneaking in via the ventilators. I don't like to say, but I think perhaps you need to reread The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Chomes. We understand that Mr. Figo is the chief warden here at the prison. I.e., that he was. Strong has a responsibility and dedication to the job. No doubt about it. He was a fine warden. Sorry, did you say was? I.e., he doesn't work here anymore. He left the job. Oh my! Where was this exactly? There's a question. When was it about? Can't even much less than 10 years ago now. What? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago? I managed to gain and learned the fellow's name all that time. That's so where maybe he's gone missing though. But he made no mention of it. I think perhaps Mr. Naruhodo that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works here. Okay then, can you tell us what happened? I must have give up his job here. That's important, is it? Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't help wonder. Given that it was 10 years ago. Ah! Which was exactly when the professor was being held at the prison. So Mr. Figo actually resigned from the position of chief warden 10 years ago, you're telling us. What happened to make him leave his job? In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. You mean, he was dismissed? It was after a particular walk. Sorry, a walk? Your words from before. A walk to the gallows. Ah, execution. It's a job of the chief warden to prepare the gallows tree for oversee any execution. See, only Bergen did something unthinkable on that last walk he was manning. What did they do? I'm sorry, but I can't even reveal that information. I can tell you that it's very rare for a chief warden to be relieved of his post. Why would Mrs. Ergen know about it? She appeared to be under the impression that her husband still worked here. I wouldn't know anything about that, I'm afraid. Can you perhaps ask one more question about the circumstances of his suspension? What would that be, Ian? That last execution that Mr. Ergen was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the professors? What was exactly? I'm sorry. I really am. But I'm at no liberty to answer that. I see. My father came to Britain all these years ago in order to study forensics medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted. The dev room, the prison, and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, you need fresh corpses for forensic research. Did you know? Did you ken? Yes, I can imagine. The advancement of medical science isn't always particularly palatable. Your father worked in the laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard. In the basement of the Synth Center. It's still in use today. Synth Center? That comes up before, I'm sure. That come up before, I'm sure. Yes, that's right. We've been there. You could tell and I used to ride in the carriage together on negotiable terms. For more fresh materials, I suppose. I used to sit here for long hours and gap on about the sections and all sorts. Oof, it takes me back. Over a pot of tea and a plate of ham-cup biscuits, of course. How charming. He was a good fellow, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese. Because of Genshin Sugi, I suppose. Well, I can't really tell you anything else. Thank you so much for your time, Governor. Oh, one moment before you take away. And I'm sure I'll have it here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take us a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison. What is it? That's from dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course. Oh my, are you sure? It's no trouble at all. It's not the original, mind. It's dismissal notice has been entered to the court records. Thank you very much, Governor Kidden. Well, in return, do me a favor and never come back here. That case is closed. Well, I think we'll return to Baker Street for the time being. Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Jones with what we found out about Mr. Ferguson. What will he tell Mr. Ferguson, I wonder? My chief warned that Ferguson is relieved of his post with immediate effect for having violated Clause 132 of Her Majesty's Code of Conduct for Prisoners. All rights to redundancy pay and other financial benefits are fully revoked. Reason for dismissal? Aiding and abetting the escape from the prison of convict... just prior to his execution. Details of the escape are still investigated. In full cooperation with inquirers will be expected. President Governor back in. Additional notes. Indications are that the jailbreak plot was conceived prior to the convict's incarnation. It's believed that the convict engaged in some form of negotiation with prison staff in order to secure assistance. Full disclosure of information regarding these negotiations will be demanded. First of November, Jones is... We're back! Hello, you two! I thought you'd be back before long. I picked some scones for us. Ah. So that's what's a holy crap, now it's blue! I picked some scones for you. Ah. That's what the smell is. Greetings, my dear fellow. You returned a good deal sooner than I anticipating. Hello, Mr. Jones. Hello, Mr. Jones? Say nothing. Your faults are written all over your face in any case. Turns out that it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration tonic before application. Oh my. Right, tell me. What of our warden friend? Have you gotten some new information? Yes. Something very surprising, in fact. Though it might not, though it's not a patch on your hair, to be honest. It most certainly isn't. But still, we discovered that Sholmes! Drop everything, Sholmes! This is more important. Gina. I cannot believe it. What happened? Clearly a very grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever. It's the boss. What do you mean, Inspector Grayson? The boss is... He's dead! What? They just found his body! Shoot! With a pistol! What? But... Inspector Grayson! He was murdered? No, not great, see? Come in, my dear girl. Tell us the whole story. Nice at the 10% stuff. Are you serious, yeah? Inspector Grayson, he was really shot? I don't know much about what happened myself yet. We're still there, investigating the scene. Where did this take place? A little rented room in the building full of flats on Fenso Street. The outskirts of town. More near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then. Thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about the case around here. There. Oh, it's strange. The boss he was so good to me. I know I ain't done much yet, but one day I was gonna show him. I was gonna show him I'd become a proper detective. What do you need? So who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is? They got him already. Already? They caught the shooter so soon? A witness reported something was going on. And the boys got straight down there to take a look at him and took him in. Who? What awful person did this? I still can't believe it myself. You know? It was the Reaper. Oh my god, what is going on? Wait a minute. You don't mean they arrested Lord Van Seeks for it? That's right. The Reaper bloke's gone and shot the boss. No, Lord Van Seeks. Are you quite sure, Miss Lestrade? It's Baron for 6 the police have arrested. I saw him with my own eyes in the interview room of the Yarn. I can't believe it. But there were witnesses. And they all said it was him. You mean there were actual multiple witnesses? They heard the gunshot, apparently. And when our lot got to the scene, there was only the boss and the Reaper bloke in the room. There's no way Lord Van Six would have taken Grayson's life. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it either. This seems familiar. In all the ways. Thank you for informing us, Miss Lestrade. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry. What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway. I'm taking the cab over to the scene right now. Please come and all as soon as you can. Gotta help. It's a detective's lot to appear whenever some sinister plot has unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for the nerves. It's a shame. What use is there in being a great detective if I fail to see something like this coming? How could I let this happen to Grayson? To Grayson! Listen, Hodo. I shall leave at once to begin my investigation. Of course, yes, we will too. It would be helpful. You talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you can glean. I'm sure you were intending to do so anyway. Till later, then. Inspector Grayson, dead. Lord Van Six arrested. Bruno, Susie! I called you at Hanson. It's waiting outside. Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Mr. Sano? Yes! Wait, there's something else on this table now. The mask Cosmo wore when he was assigned to Lord Van Six as his apprentice. When he cast his sight of the child the other day, I just sort of picked it up. Well, I give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to work myself. But, isn't he your best friend? Let's get moving. Dude, it's chill. 1st of November, local prison, cell 1. There he is, Lord Van Six behind bars. So it's true, he really was arrested. He's sitting with us back to the wall, reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Six! Fancy meeting you here. The last place on Earth I like to be. But the last person on Earth I like to see. I couldn't very well not come. You heard what happened. That you and Inspector Grayson was. Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But forgive me, Lord Van Six, but I must disagree. Inspector Grayson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigation, please. There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cell there? Was it something related to the case? This The yard isn't quite so cavalier with his information as to share case details with a suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Oh, who might that be? Someone you know, as it happened. Albert Herring. Of course, yes. Forgetting they went to the same university. And I would like to read my correspondent in peace. But let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Six never minced his words. They seem to have less bite than usual somehow. I think you know this. That this is worn by the people of my country to show that they're defenseless, don't you? And I think you know that I believe you to be a mere playing at craft initially. But it was seen that your arband may actually imply some dormant talent after all. And Six, you mean? Let's hope you wake up soon. Yes, I was clearly daydreaming. Oh, I almost thought I got like a compliment there. It's not for me. Ah, that's not why I'm showing you it. I suppose if it were a black-head league, you would have no hesitation. None whatsoever. Sadly, my own hair has could no more be described as black as it could red. What color league should I then join? People are troubled by the most unexpected problems at times. What's that? Ah, it's just something to ask your opinion about, that's all. It's a serious crime for the defense to attempt to extract information from the prosecution by illegal means. Alright, I get the message. But I don't see what's illegal about me asking. Oh. Can you tell us at least your side of the story, Lord Six? What happened? How much do you already know? We knew that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Benzo Street, and that you were found by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested. And we were told that there was no one else in the room and that some witnesses heard the gunshot. Then you're well informed. And there's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. But the gunshot! Obviously you didn't fire the gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard the noise, however. Before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers. So he doesn't actually know what happened. If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with? I don't need to answer that. Oh? After all, you're not representing me. He's going to need a lawyer, though. Who's going to be representing you in court, Lord Six? Anyone other than you, I should imagine. Would I be right in assuming that you have no representative as yet? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now. Surely not. I assure you, No defense lawyer will want to touch me at the end of the bargain pole. The bargain pole. You didn't actually have anything to do with those people's death, did you? It's been 10 years now that I've been known as the Reaper of the Belly. Believe me, no one wants to know the true identity of this killer more than I. However, it seems things shall come to head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. See me, my dad. After the trial, Professor Herbert was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. It's a letter to inform me that he's safe of a safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond reach of the Reaper. Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean? Yes, so it seems. Your stupid little Nipponese friend, for example. You told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right. He's an overnight, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Herbert is safely back in Germany now. He is. So, it appears our conversation has run dry. There was a 2-second silence, that's all. Well, in any event, if you excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Van Six, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. Trust me, do you? Yes. I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people. But I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just healing can't be used as evidence in court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer. However, I trust no one. What? Not the police, not the judiciary, not you Nipponese. But please! I have no intention of engaging in your service. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. And neither of us will waste any more time. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper. And find out more about Lord Van Seek and what happened to Inspector Grayson. First of November, room on Fenson Street. This really is an out of the way part of London. I doubt many people find their way down this back street. This dust-ridden rented room is where it happened then. This is where poor Inspector Grayson lost his life. Yes, and the police are already hard at work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere, though. Perhaps this investigation has taken him elsewhere. Oi! What do you think you're doing here? Every one of them drawers has got to be taken right out so you can look underneath them. I want the space above the ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey! Ain't your lot never gonna... No, over and I was looking for when the owners are out in town. This obviously got some unique investigation techniques she wants everyone to adopt. Oh! You turned up at last! Mind you, I haven't been here long myself. Hello again, Gino. Sholmes is only just left. Lucky you missed that. You're lucky you missed that. You went pressing around in the air, pointing this stuff and flicking that. I don't know what this is. I don't know if is that, and then scap out. Oh, he finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah. He did stop to say nothing to no one. Not even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigate too? Listen, Otto. You're a lawyer, right? Yes. Why? Well, you're not thinking of Jan the Apple Reaper book, are you? Oh, poor Gina. He's never gonna forget this, she. Trowel will haunt her forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, Lord Fancy really is responsible for this crime. He will be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right. Yeah. Go on then, Otto. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened there. Thank you, Gina. Gotta do the usual. This armband is proof, in Japan at least, that I'm a defense lawyer. And this badge is proof that I'm a detective. So you're all gonna have to start calling me Inspector Lestrade. In that case, you'll have to start calling me, well, anything but Otto. I could call you the Defender now, Otto, if you like, but it doesn't really tip off the tongue. No, it doesn't have a great ring to it, does it? You know, oi, that business. Yep, Inspector Lestrade. Here's sooner. Not that one followed up. Or buttoned up. I thought it was yeah, I thought it was the shoes that led the pair into a trap. Was it? Wasn't it? Listen, Otto. It ain't easy going from the East End Deborah to Scott. You're a detective, right? But anyway, it's all part of the charm, ain't it? Being a bit loose with the truth when it helps. That's wrong for so many reasons. Maybe. I should get Iris to write some stories about me. The Adventures of Inspector Lestrade. Yeah, what do you think of... Look at this. What is that, evidence? Working something out about what happened, have you? Oh, no. Not exactly. I ain't been long enough in the job to get all this the duck business yet. But I swear I'm gonna get the person who did this to the boss. Oh, that's the same. Gina, what was Inspector Grayson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what, over the years since I got out of the clink. That's when I decided to give up Divin and become a detective instead. Yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to agree to take you on as an apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out, a bit of a legend of the art. Goodness, really? They say managed to solve some really tricky kiss, just like that. He did? Yep. And ever since then, he started going on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else in the yard even knows what off the kisses he's working on, apparently. Well, oh no, apparently. That's not how it's supposed to work, is it? What was the legendary Spectre doing in a dinky little room like this? I know he had a lot of respect for the Reaper and all. And look where it landed him. Respect for the Reaper. No way. I heard him say as much. I'll dig me off to the fella for his words. Not how the general public feels, is it? Most people are terrified of the Reaper. Yeah, the boss said that's exactly why he respected the bloke. I didn't realize Grayson had the Reaper in quite such high regards. He did something else to me at all. And I didn't need to worry about the Reaper. Because he only goes after people who are bad. It did kind of set him at ease when he zipped that. Right. What is this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's being rented by some girl called Hugh Bone. Okay. Galley's thing gone off there. Hugh Bone? Boom. It's sort of here today, gone tomorrow name. That, isn't it? Yeah, he what call an unidentified person. Yeah, I'm been able to get in touch with him. See, well, judging from appearances, I have to say that this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right? All the lads from the yard packed down to get stuck on into the investigation. But there's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mr. Sano? Well, could it be that Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Grayson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible that this is in fact some kind of secret office of his. Well, I never even considered that. I never even considered that. Nice work, Suze! We're actually following the line of inquiries like that ourselves. You are? If you look around the room, you'll see that there are a few things that hint at it. We should really investigate this place in detail. I see that where the inspector was found over there. Yeah, that's right. They say it was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently, the bullet went right through him and struck the candle tree in the wall. Yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely. Alright, gun use is there on the floor. It's 3 ain't it? No denying that. What? Really? How do you know that? Take it easy! I don't know what to do with myself when you stir me with them big white eyes. I'm only saying what I heard. I don't know much about guns myself. But some big with long matter whatever who says so. So why don't you ask him? A big woman, is it? Anyway, Spencer Street runs along under that window there. There were some street sellers just outside here at the gun shop. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anyone outside. Anybody outside? Yeah, they've all been taken down to the yard for questioning. That's why. We're talking about the yard's lieutenant inspector here. After all, they'll be getting the girl in. You think we might be able to speak with those street people sellers ourselves? I doubt it. The lads at the yard will just want to know what you're stupid for, and you'll be in for grilling and all. Can't interfere the witnesses stand. Right. Let's get investigating. Let's see that chimney. That empty fireplace makes the room feel a little colder than it would be otherwise, doesn't it? It's thick with dust. Look. I think it would be fair to say that it hasn't been used in a very long time. In other words, If you ever lived in this room, it must have been extremely hard being cold weather. Or nobody lived here at all. I merely visited when the occasion arose. I wouldn't like to say which is more likely. No, that's alright. That's right. It's one or the other. Oh! It's a photograph stand! I suppose it was a picture of one of Inspector Grayson's family members. Ah! What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out of your head. They are! Look! Mr. Naruto, quickly! Huh? Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow? Of course she's familiar! We met her only this morning! Ah! It's Miss Virgo! This makes no sense! Why do we have a picture of Miss Virgo in here? To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. I'm sorry to say, I have no idea either. Oh. It's one of those evidences. This looks like some sort of notice board or something. And it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Ah, Mr. Naruto, look! This, you mean, it's an all-spy report, isn't it? And these cases here are details of prison inmates. Yes, in fact, they're all sort of documented that only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room? Some old newspaper cuttings. Ah! And this one here! Oh yes, the advertisement you mean. The red-headed leaf. But why? What's that doing here? Whoever occupied this room was very clearly interested in it for some reason. Excuse me. Oh, Inspector. Oh, sir. Come on. You can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. Excuse me. Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right? Perhaps I'd better leave you to your work then. There's a wig on the floor! Top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off. Yes, there's a wax splatter behind the wall. Look. I suppose the bullet had hit it. It does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle. I mean, first pass through the inspector's body. Now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. Candelabrum. Can we investigate that? Can we look around that? Oh, thank you, game. Ah, there's some sort of black marks here. Look. Yes, they're like some sort of scorch marks. Perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? And only one of the candles has been cracked off, it seems. I think you may be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan. I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them. I think that's all there is to this. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes off this thing. Oh! Funny enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is! It is! A bright red hairpiece! And I suppose the fact that it's right here next to where the body was found means you're having to accept that Inspector Grayson wore wigs, does it? In such a flame color red, and in such a flame color red too. Yes, that's the color we come across. It's very recently elsewhere, isn't it? Exactly! This is a final clue, I'm sure of it. Ah, sweet. I've always wondered what the other side of a herpes looks like. That doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruto. You've always wanted to see what lies beneath, don't you? I'm not sure that's quite how I put it. You must have used a lot of bird line to keep it in place on your head. It doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean. That might be a little inconvenient when you want to take it off. Yeah, don't you think? This is presumably the murder weapon, then. Oh my! It's real, I suppose. I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan. I really know very little about them. There's only one way to know for sure. Mr. Naruto, fire a shot! No! If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. I'd like to see if just to ask someone I might know, I think. Oh, this is the revolver. Suppose this must have been the murder weapon. Oh my, hit me. Oh, we're getting some. I think so. Okay, yeah. Now I have interest in the gun. Oh, what's this? It appeared to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way. Sorry. Seeing as this was on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Grayson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Seek's playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. It could have fallen out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case. Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful after all, in a way. Excuse me. If you're looking down just from the grip beyond the Spectre, don't worry. We'll look after things at the yard. I think there are some deep thoughts there. Somebody's have possibly nailed these boards over the broken glass, haven't they? Couldn't really call it a window anymore. Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Sumi's room, it was completely blocked with bricks. This one does at least let some light in. You could say nothing more about it. I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Sumi now. So I suppose this is where the victim. That's right. The rope is led around the body to show exactly where I was found. Poor Inspector Grace himself has already been taken away. I'm presumably be under Dr. Sea's scalpel by now, if not for what happened last week. In the shape of the rope, it appeared that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Are you feeling alright, Mr. Naruto? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but, well, conjured up some terrifying images, that's all. Especially with that blood stain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, when we picture in our minds can even be worse than reality. Your Senra-san is so strong, though. He's taking this far better than I am. Okay, let's see if there's any more of this. If not, we'll move to a different location. Nope. Well, we've done everything we can here for the time being. You won't bother with us. The only person who would, now. 1st of November. British Supreme Court Lord Chief Justice's office. You've made good time! I took an express train back to London. I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone. Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train I took. So I should check. So I could check all the paperwork. It's Masama. Ah, your attire is impeccable! What the birds! It is? No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest debauchery. Right? Yes. I'm sure you don't believe it, of course, though, Lord Strongheart. That Lord Van Six could have done such a thing to Inspector Grayson. I believe only in facts. And the facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accuse of Lord Van Six for this crime. But we must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Oh no, surely not! It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the forensic scientific snooping finally begins. At the very least, though, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable just process. Screw it! Does that mean the trial's tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Asuma. Ah, but of course, you're already acquitted, aren't you? Mr. Soki here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings, leading the prosecution. Wait, what? Asuma. And as I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Asuma-sama, a prosecutor. I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no, people all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by a Reaper at the Bailey, and now the Reaper himself must stand in the dock? Quite so. The public wants answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped convictions essentially died mysterious deaths. Lord Van Six firmly denies any involvement in such matters. And there has been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent. That's certainly true. Or it has been, at least until now. Ah! No. Tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's greatest judicial history, as foretold by the birds. So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow? That's right. But he's the defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart. accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their rules. And imagine what it will mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. I have no doubt at all that Cosmo will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why, Cosmo-san? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain. It was a personal request. I asked to be assigned to the trial. You asked for this? But why? It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Although, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation. I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unpreceded. Quite exceptional, in fact. You're quite right, Miss Mikutaba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. Ah, after all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution. Ryusaki. Let's see how your skills have been honed after practicing law in this land for so many months. Hasuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well, my friend. Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun on the scene of Inspector Grayson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Francisque? That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure. She told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know. That's right, Mr. Naruhiro. Be direct. It's certainly a model that issues to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine. In that case, it could actually belong to the victim. No, Grayson had his gun on his person. What about Lord Francisque? He claimed it's currently not in his possession. What? According to the story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious. But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's is no proof that that's actually his. No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Francisque. Oh. Oh, sorry. I think I know where this is gonna go. We're gonna show our new stuff to Francisque and he's gonna ask us to represent him. Yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's all ball and then talking to Lord Francisque. Let's do it anyway. Nope. Sholmes, my dear fellow, how are ya? Not here, damn it. Now where do I go? Can I stand and talk to... Wrong place. No. Then we must be missing something. Something obviously that I missed, that I've overlooked. It's updated though. I believe it, Inspector Grayson. It's awful, isn't it? We must carry on. I know, but it's just so much to take in. I don't know where to start. We must start with a thorough investigation of the scene. We must interview Gina. Then we must go to the prison and speak with the Reaper. Thank goodness I have you, Mr. Sano. I have it all under control as usual. You're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm afraid I don't have all the answers. I really have no idea how to be around Iris at the moment. Oh yes, that. I forgot to examine this. The charming policeman appears to be a little worse than before. I'm not convinced that is about the charming part, but yes, you're right. Him, I just think it's been heavily manhandled. Almost as somebody had enjoyed twisting her around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting around and around too, for fun? Oh! It appears to be some sort of key. But it's tiny though. Maybe a key for a door, not for this size. What's it for, I wonder? This is like some sort of key. Yes, it does. It's very tiny, a very tiny, simple key. What's a little key doing inside a figurine of a policeman in the first place? What's it for? Well, that changes a little bit more than what I thought. I wonder if this changes then. Nope. You know, we found something! Damn it. What to do now? Well, you're not helping. I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? Okay. Where is everybody? Wait, this is all new now. Ah, look, we have an opportunity here now. While the governor's away. It's not hurdle. We're present if you can recall. That's a good point. Perhaps not then. I stand corrected. We had an opportunity. Okay. I'm clearly missing something. We somehow have the examine. Oh, so this is the type of revolver that's done. If you remember the history then. Yes, I'm gonna ask about whether the records are kept but who they are issued to. I was told that for the last few years they've been agree with a unique serial number. Oh, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun. Which tells us that it must have been issued by someone longer ago than that. I am trying to think about this one. Kind of getting back into the looping of me trying to figure out. Where have I not been that or did something that I haven't? Is Fonzie getting talking to me? Ah, right. I talked to him. I'm sorry for all the words I've cost you, but it'll be alright now. Has your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything, including what I was coming here to do. Right. Asuma-sama, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia? It was a voice. It was the voice. Last year, I've been hearing in my head constantly saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London. So sorry for what happened. What's happened. Anyway, my memories might have returned to me, but there's something that will return to the way I was before. Huh? What do you mean? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. Doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you so much, Lord Strongheart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you can learn from the public gallery. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see yourselves later.
Hold it!
Before you go, Reno, stop. Rinosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? I just want to thank you. Kazuma-sama, what? You took my determination to heart and brought up with you over the oceans in my stead. And you carried out my rule to perfection. Always were intended to study British law in order to change our own justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you. Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here. Oh? I actually have a favor to ask. Which is the trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow. I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me. As the defense. Why? What's this all about? I know you have what it takes. But Lord Van Six would never put his faith in my hands. On the contrary, he recognized your talent. He does? It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. That's Lord Francisque and Inspector Grayson. In a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the looks of it. And who's that fur person? It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. In Grayson's office, you mean? Yes. What I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talk makes him take a different view. Take it. Alright, the photographs are odd. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Just hurry when you're talking. Isn't it ours? The prison's almost over. What are you doing, Kazuma? Okay, just the magnifying. Okay, cool. First of November, local prison cell 1. Lord Francisque is still reading that letter. We've been going quite some time though. Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can. I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insulting Nipponese. Oh! Sorry. I didn't think you'd hear that. I had the case no spot to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time. Yes, we heard that your trial's set for tomorrow. Which is none of your business. So, have you found a lawyer? How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This is nothing to do with you. In other words, no. We were just talking about Strongheart, and the prosecution for the trial has been decided. I expected nothing less. Though I have no idea who it is. It's going to be Kazuma Sogi. Sogi? And the color changed from his face. Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. Before we do that, Lord Francisque, you came by this old photograph. Where did you get that? It was taken when it was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. It's the man left here, or... Yes, that's my brother, Flint. That's been updated. Had to be, really. Apparently, this picture was prominently displayed in Grayson's office. He had deep respect for you, you know. You were that? Respect? That's nonsense. No, we heard someone attest to it clearly. Inspector Jean Lestrade, no less. Well, Maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We were brothers in arms, duly discussing the future of justice and other such lovely subject matters. That was a nice glimpse of the past. I thank you. Feel as though I got a nice glimpse of the past then too. There was a glimmer of light in his eyes. A twinkle. Insight of the true nature of the man known to all as the Stone Cold Reaper of the Bailey. "10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecution at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by when I don't curse the name Asogi. Genshin Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father. So what cruel twist of fate this is now, 10 years later. The man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court. I still don't understand why Lord Strongheart appreciated Apprentice Kazuma to you. It's what he does. Know that he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset. What could have he been hoping to achieve? And let's not forget that that's only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart assign this child to somebody like that? Sogi. That name is the very atomy of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese. Right. Hatred of all Japanese. Rather than, as much as I want to keep going, I'm going to wrap up now. Right, so we'll continue this next time, which will probably be for a while. So we're going. I said that. Right, Charles, here. Hope it's a good day. Hope it's a good week. We will be back on this. Not next week. I'm going to take a little break from this. So probably 2-week break on this. Take a little breather from walls attacks for me and all. We'll just figure some stuff out. But yeah, I'll wrap things up here. Thanks for tuning in. Hope it's a good day. Hope it's a good week. Usual stream probably for the last next few days, and then we'll kind of go and we'll see where next week takes us. I'll see you all next time then. Bye.